Good morning, America. As the sun rises over the East Coast, a sense of unease lingers in the air. Today is not just any day. There's a storm brewing that has captured the attention of the entire nation. Today, August 20th, 2025, all eyes are on the East Coast. From bustling cities to quiet coastal towns, people are glued to their screens, watching and waiting for updates. The anticipation is palpable, and the tension is rising as the threat grows closer. Hurricane Erin, a massive and powerful storm churning in the Atlantic, threatens millions from Florida all the way up to New England. Its swirling clouds stretch for hundreds of miles, a reminder of nature's immense force. Meteorologists have been tracking Erin for days, watching as it gathers strength and shifts its path, keeping everyone on edge. Even without a direct landfall, Erin's sheer size and power are already being felt. Dangerous surf pounds the beaches, flooding creeps into low-lying roads, and fierce winds whip through coastal neighborhoods. The ocean, usually a place of calm and beauty, has become a source of fear and uncertainty. This is a time for caution and preparation, as Erin dominates the weather and daily life for countless people. Families are gathering supplies, boarding up windows, and making plans to stay safe. Streets that are normally filled with life are now eerily quiet, as residents heed warnings and brace for what's to come. The storm is a powerful reminder of nature's dual nature, both beautiful and destructive. Lightning flashes over the ocean, illuminating the dark sky. Families pack their cars, leaving behind homes and memories, unsure of what they'll return to. Businesses, large and small, are shuttering their doors, hoping their precautions will be enough. First responders are working around the clock, preparing for rescues and emergencies. Firefighters, police, and medical teams are on high alert, ready to help those in need. Their dedication and bravery shine through, even as the storm's fury grows. The decisions made now, whether to evacuate or secure property, are critical. Every action could mean the difference between safety and danger. Communities are coming together, helping neighbors and sharing resources, determined to weather the storm as one. Throughout this video, we'll break down the science behind Hurricane Erin, explore the risks it brings, and explain what you need to do to stay safe. We'll hear from experts, see the latest forecasts, and share stories from those on the front lines. Let's track Erin's every move, understand what's truly at stake, and learn how we can face this mighty storm together. Stay with us as we follow Erin's path and prepare for whatever comes next. Before we dive into the story of Hurricane Erin, let's take a moment to understand what a hurricane really is and why these storms are so powerful and dangerous. A hurricane is not just a big storm, it's a massive rotating system that forms over warm ocean waters, drawing its energy from the heat and moisture at the sea's surface. These storms can stretch hundreds of miles across, with winds spiraling around a central, calm area known as the eye. Here's how it works. As the sun heats the ocean, warm, moist air rises from the surface. As this air rises, it cools and condenses into clouds, releasing even more heat and causing the air to rise faster. This cycle creates powerful updrafts and helps the storm grow, spinning faster and faster as it organizes around the eye. The winds in a hurricane can be incredibly destructive, bending trees, tearing off roofs, and sending debris flying. To help us understand the strength of these storms, scientists use the Saffir-Simpson scale, which classifies hurricanes from Category 1, with winds starting at 74 miles per hour, all the way up to Category 5, where winds exceed 157 miles per hour. At its peak, Erin reached the highest level, Category 5. That means it was capable of causing catastrophic damage, flattening buildings, and uprooting entire communities. Even though Erin has weakened since then, it still poses a serious threat to anyone in its path. But hurricanes are more than just wind. They bring torrential rain that can flood streets and homes in a matter of hours, and their powerful winds whip up enormous waves that crash onto the shore. Sometimes the water itself becomes the deadliest part of the storm. One of the most dangerous hurricane threats is storm surge, a sudden rise of seawater pushed inland by the force of the winds. This wall of water can flood entire communities in minutes, sweeping away cars, buildings, and anything in its path. Even if you're far from the storm's center, massive waves and deadly rip currents can make beaches and coastal waters extremely hazardous. These hidden dangers can catch people off guard, pulling swimmers out to sea or battering the coastline. That's why, when a hurricane approaches, officials may issue evacuation orders and urgent warnings. They're not just being cautious, They're trying to save lives by getting people out of harm's way before it's too late. Being informed and prepared is your best defense. Knowing the risks, understanding evacuation routes, and having a plan can make all the difference when a hurricane threatens your area. Now that you know what makes hurricanes so dangerous, let's see how Erin is putting all these forces into motion, and why it's so important to take these storms seriously. Hurricane Erin has grown into a formidable Category 2 storm, churning relentlessly over the Atlantic. Its swirling mass of clouds and rain stretches for hundreds of miles, a powerful force of nature that's impossible to ignore. Meteorologists have been tracking Erin's every move, watching as it gathers strength and size, fueled by the warm ocean waters beneath it. With sustained winds now reaching around 105 miles per hour, Erin's power is evident in the way it bends palm trees and sends waves crashing onto distant shores. These winds are strong enough to cause significant damage, uprooting trees, downing power lines, and making travel extremely dangerous. The hurricane-force winds themselves extend outward up to 80 miles from the storm's eye, creating a vast area of intense weather. Within this zone, conditions can deteriorate rapidly, with sudden gusts and torrential rain making it hazardous for anyone caught outside. But Erin's reach goes even further. Tropical storm-force winds, which are still strong enough to cause flooding and property damage, stretch an incredible 230 miles from the center. This means that even communities far from the eye are at risk of dangerous weather. Even while the storm remains offshore, its effects are already being felt along hundreds of miles of the East Coast. Beaches are being battered by rough surf, and coastal residents are bracing for the possibility of flooding and erosion. The threat extends well beyond the immediate landfall zone. As of now, Erin is positioned about 570 miles south-southeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, steadily moving in a north-northwest direction. This trajectory keeps emergency officials and residents on edge, as the storm's path could shift with little warning. Current forecasts suggest that the eye of the storm will likely remain offshore, sparing the coast from a direct hit. However, the Outer Banks and surrounding areas are still expected to experience dangerous winds, heavy rain, and the potential for storm surge. The forecast cone now covers a wide swath from the Carolinas up through the mid-Atlantic, putting millions of people on alert. Local authorities are urging everyone in these regions to monitor updates closely, prepare emergency kits, and have evacuation plans ready if needed. As Erin approaches the warm waters of the Gulf Stream, there's a real possibility it could intensify even further. Meteorologists warn that conditions are ripe for the storm to gain strength, so it's crucial not to underestimate the threat or let your guard down. Looking ahead, after skirting the U.S. coast, Erin is expected to curve northeast, potentially impacting Atlantic Canada and even reaching as far as Europe. The storm's journey is far from over, and its effects could be felt across multiple continents. For now, the immediate concern remains the U.S. East Coast, where officials and residents are taking every precaution. As Erin approaches, communities are urged to stay vigilant, heed warnings, and be ready to act quickly if conditions worsen. North Carolina's governor has declared a state of emergency as Erin approaches. This unlocks resources, mobilizes the National Guard, and signals the seriousness of the threat. It's a call to action. Finalize preparations, heed warnings, and prioritize safety. The focus is on the vulnerable Outer Banks, where resources are being pre-positioned for rapid response. Consumer protections are in place to prevent price gouging during the crisis. The state of emergency is the foundation for all response efforts as North Carolina faces Erin head-on. Mandatory evacuations are underway for Dare and Hyde counties, including the Outer Banks. These orders mean the threat to life is imminent. Residents and visitors must leave now. The main concern, Highway 12, the only road out, will likely be washed out and impassable. Ferries are running non-stop to evacuate Ocracoke and Hatteras before conditions worsen. Staying behind puts lives at extreme risk and endangers first responders. Officials urge everyone to move inland or to emergency shelters immediately. The message is clear: leave now and stay safe. From Florida to New England, officials are closing beaches and banning swimming. Erin's distant power is generating deadly surf and rip currents, even on sunny days. Rip currents can pull even strong swimmers out to sea in seconds. Don't risk it. Waves of 10 to 20 feet are expected near the storm, with offshore waves up to 50 feet. Stay off jetties, piers, and dunes. Rogue waves can surge far up the beach. The ocean's beauty is deceptive. Admire it from a safe distance. Lifeguards and emergency managers urge, respect the ocean, obey closures, and stay out of the water. Don't become a statistic. The greatest threat from Erin is storm surge, a wall of water invading the land. A storm surge warning is in effect from Cape Lookout to Duck, including the Pamlico and Albemarle Sounds. Surge of 3 to 6 feet could flood homes, destroy roads, and cut off communities. The low-lying Outer Banks are especially vulnerable. Highway 12 will likely be inundated. Even areas farther north face surge risks, especially during high tide. Soundside flooding can trap water and prolong flooding inland. This is why evacuation orders are in place. Storm surge is deadly and impossible to survive. Respect the warnings and get to higher ground. Erin's impact stretches far beyond North Carolina's coast. Tropical storm warnings and watches extend from the Outer Banks to Virginia and even up to New England. Winds up to 60 miles per hour can cause power outages, down trees, and make travel dangerous. Heavy rain bands may trigger flash flooding, even far inland. Bermuda is also under a tropical storm watch, expecting rough seas and gusty winds. Mariners across the Atlantic are urged to avoid the storm's path. Communities are preparing, securing loose objects, clearing drains, and readying emergency kits. Erin proves you don't have to be in the direct path to feel a hurricane's effects. As Erin moves up the coast, staying informed is your best defense. The situation changes quickly. Forecasts, warnings, and evacuation orders can update at any time. Have a NOAA weather radio, enable emergency alerts, and follow trusted news sources. Trust the experts. Meteorologists and emergency managers are working to keep you safe. Ignoring warnings is a dangerous gamble. History shows the tragic cost of staying behind. Prepare a disaster kit, know your evacuation zone, and secure your home. Check on neighbors, especially the vulnerable, and share accurate information. This is a test of our infrastructure and our humanity. By working together and heeding warnings, we can weather the storm and recover. Preparedness and community are our strongest defenses against Erin.